Harvey died in an automobile accident at dusk. It still scares me when it gets close to that time.
It's understandable, Lisa. It hasn't been that long.
Oh, it isn't the length of time. It's just that I feel terribly guilty about it. Harvey and I didn't exactly have a harmonious marriage. In fact, we were fighting most of the time. Screaming and yelling at each other. Throwing things. I don't even remember what set it off. But he stormed out. Some men drink. Others drive fast. But I can't help feeling that he'd still be alive if we hadn't had that last fight.
He's here.
Stay close.
Hurry.
I think we better see what's happening.
Try not to be frightened, Mrs. Kirkwood.
I'm trying, but it isn't easy.
Sorry.
It's in front of our bedroom.
Where's that coming?
In the attic. But it's been sealed off for years.
I'd like to check it out.
I don't think you can get up there.
Maybe I can from the outside.
How did he get in the attic?
Doesn't really matter. That should take care of Mr. Parker.
Oh, yeah, sure. I just slipped while climbing down.
What happened?
I don't really know, but at least I got a couple of pictures. So there was something there.
Yes, you were not hallucinating.
Hallucinating?
What you saw could have been a hallucination, caused telepathically and projected by yourself.
Oh, but then I wouldn't have been able to photograph it.
Correct. You have a number of theories in parapsychology to explain hauntings. None of them are very satisfactory.
Dr. Davis, are these pictures from some other hauntings?
I'd prefer to call them unexplained phenomena. One theory I find particularly interesting is that an object holds on to psychic impressions, and a sensitive person can touch it and receive those impressions.
Psychometry.
Well, if an object can do this, then perhaps a room or a whole house can retain the impressions of an individual, like Harvey Kirkwood.
No, the force I felt was much too strong to be any kind of impression. Doctor, is it possible that these effects could be faked?
Totally a fraud, done with lights and a projector.
Well, then how about mine? Do you think they're authentic?
Look here, this pattern in the light, too intense. And these beams could have been projected. But it's impossible to tell for certain. Your Kirkwood haunting bears further investigation.
You're supposed to be a scientist, and you bring me back pictures of ghosts.
Well, what if she isn't being taken?
Are you trying to tell me that that ghost is for real?
No, I'm not telling you it's for real.
Well, of course it isn't for real, because there isn't any such thing.
I'm just saying that there is phenomenon here that is worth looking into.
What phenomenon? Have you gone crazy?
Mr. Jameson, there is an entire department of parapsychology at the university. Now, are they all idiots?
Yes, they are. That's all a lot of bunk.
I see. Well, you can stick your head in the sand, but you can't make these things disappear.
I could take you off this assignment.
But you won't. Not until I've checked out all the facts. And I think it's time I go and have a good look at the Institute of Psychic Research.
I told you you wouldn't get him to change his mind.
Rita, he would not budge. I mean, I have never met anybody who is so close to new ideas.
Well, you know what happens to people with an open mind. Garbage falls into it.
Yeah, well, if anybody wants me, I'll be picking up some garbage at the Psychic Research Institute.
Julie was trying to reach you. She's at the Psychic Research Institute.
Julie? Well, how come?
Checking out the Kirkwood story, too.
But you have to admit that there is a lot of fraud in the psychic field, Dr. Polarski.
Oh, of course there is. And also much that warrants investigation.
Like the ghost up at Kirkwood?
Well, now, how did you find out about that?
The cook quit and needed money, so she contacted the Register. They knew I was working on a story about hauntings, so they turned her over to me.
Well, I'm afraid I'm not at liberty to talk about it. Mrs. Kirkwood has requested no publicity.
Look, Dr. Polarski, now there's a lot of bad press on so-called psychic phenomena. You have an incredible track record in ghost hunting. I may not believe it completely, but if you can prove it to me, I'll back you in the article. Something as big as the ghost of a well-known figure like Harvey Kirkwood could clinch it.
You're a very persuasive young lady, Miss Masters. But I'm afraid my answer is still no. It would cause me to break faith with my client. And you wouldn't want to put me in that position, would you?
You have to have an appointment, and the doctor's booked up through next week.
That's all right, Mary. I know Mr. Parker.
Hi, Peter.
And now, how did your photos turn out?
Well, there was some evidence of light forms, but nothing concrete.
Well, could you send me some copies? I could use them for the file.
Well, sure, I'd be delighted. Doctor, do you keep files on all of your cases here? I'd be very interested to know how you operate an institution like this.
Well, we're mainly a non-profit organization. Our funding comes from donations, a research grant now and then, Everything is open here. You're quite welcome to look at our books.
Thank you. I'd like to do that.
Now, let me see then. Yes, you might find these duplicate files to be interesting. They explain my work much more eloquently than I could. Take them and study them at your leisure. Oh, might I suggest, Miss Masters, that you join Mr. Parker? You'll find quite a few fascinating cases there for your article.
Thank you.
Well, go ahead, take some.